Sucker!
You're listening to the Hall of Fame. Here's Booker T and Brad Gilmore.
It went down with the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega and them. But then there is a since deleted, he did the old tweet and delete. There's a since deleted Instagram story from CM Punk's account. And it seems that he's taken shots at Moxley, Dave Meltzer, and Chris Jericho. And for someone who wants to have this all behind him, this probably wasn't the smartest move in the world. This is what CM Punk wrote on his Instagram story this afternoon. He said, "Sigh, I wasn't clear to come back to wrestle yet. Then plan was to wrestle at the pay-per-view." So I think he's referring to the All Out pay-per-view. Because remember, he and Moxley had the one-on-one for the title on Dynamite just a couple weeks earlier. I sat and listened to Moxley's Rocky 3 idea, referencing the movies. I explained how I had never seen a Rocky movie. That's a whole can of worms right there. And I thought the idea sucked, but if the boss wanted to do it, whatever. Moxley said he wouldn't lose to me. I'd never experienced someone refusing to lose to me. I just laughed. I asked Tony if this is what he wanted. He said, yes, he's the boss. So that's how it went down. I said, okay, I need to be cleared first. They kept saying it could be a squash match, so I didn't need to be cleared. I scoffed at that because my health is more important. And then Jericho went on to call Dave Meltzer a liar and called Chris Jericho a liar and a stooge.
Yeah.
So, hey, at least he's not bitter.
I don't know.
That's so crazy.
Well, this doesn't sound like angle talk there again. If anybody thinks this is angle. One thing about insider information, stuff like that, brother, it just goes to show me what his business is. Where you talking about the business and giving all of the insider information to the fans that watch it. Like they're the ones that's writing your check. That's the dumbest thing I could ever imagine in my life. Like I say, the certain terms, being used in that little soliloquy. That's what we'll call it.
I like it.
Yeah. It just amazes me, man, how childish these guys really are. Now, I don't know if CM Punk is coming back or not. I was reading that, CM Punk wants to make a return to AEW. I don't know, but if he does, that's not the way to go about it. No, I'm serious. And if no, seriously. But if you still wanted to do that same interview and you were coming back or had intentions on perhaps coming back, you could have framed that thing, the same way, just differently. And people would have been like, oh, man, look like CM Punk's coming back. As well as, just say, for instance, mended a couple of fences at the same time in a certain way. By saying, look, guys, I might have made a mistake. All right? I don't know. Let's play ball. Let's try to make some money here. Seemed like that would have been the right way to go about it, opposed to, there again, insider information, talking like, giving some interview guy. You always supposed to reflect away from the question when you're in an interview. You never give the guy you're not making a dime off of that. It's amazing when I hear people do that kind of stuff.
Well, it seems like this one is unprovoked. He just posted it on his own Instagram story.
Well, I mean, if he just posted it, all right, if he posted it on his Instagram, seemed like he could have figured out a way to phrase it a little bit differently to try to make it seem, maybe, we were all wrong. Let's fix this and let's make some money. But I don't get it. That's just me. I could be wrong. People can say, say whatever. But I feel like there again, just like when, CM Punk came into AEW, he had a moment. He had a moment to do something. All right, just like when CM Punk had was working with Hangman Page and all those guys, and everything was a little awry because it felt a little disrespected and whatnot. It was a moment there. It was a moment to be able to do something. And then this right here, it's a moment actually to be able to try to fix this, but instead, I don't get it. I don't get it. Maybe it's me. I could be wrong.
No, this is a look. I know already, just as us wrestling people, we're all going to say, oh, maybe this is a work. Maybe this is a whatever, an angle. I don't see the purpose of this being an angle. It serves no purpose. It makes everybody look bad. So I'm going to write it off.
Look here, being called a stooge is not, that's like calling a brother the B word.
Yes. Yeah.
That don't work.
It's a fighting word.
It's like calling me somebody in the mafia a snitch.
Right.
Those are fighting words, terminating words in the mafia world.
Right.
So I don't see this as just an angle or anything like that.
Well, first of all, there's so much here for him to say that that Moxley said he didn't want to lose to him. That is interesting. That Punk thought the whole idea was stupid. That Punk never saw a Rocky movie. These are all.
Well, let me tell you something. Let me say this. Chris Jericho has been the most professional guy in that company thus far.
1000% agree.
And I just want to say that. And I'm not just saying that because Chris and I are friends. We cut for each other or anything like that. Just from the outtakes, that I've heard from him about situation in that company, stuff that he could have said, about that company, stuff that, as well as him been repping that company, since day one, since he got there. So I don't see anyone being able to say anything negative towards Chris Jericho, especially as far as him being a stooge. That's not if that's the way you create an angle, brother, give him the book.
Well, yeah. First of all, come after Jericho. And here's the thing. I know, and I don't know if it was said directly or it was quoted or it was rumored to him have said what have you. I know there was like the quote going around that Jericho referred to a certain locker room cancer or something like that. And
yeah, he did. Yeah, Jericho did say that.
Okay, so he said it. And everybody obviously knew what he was talking about. And so Punk's taking a shot at him for saying the thing about the locker room cancer thing, I'm assuming. But what is he lying about?
Let's not assume.
Well, what else would he be mad at Chris Jericho for?
No. Let's not assume. Chris Jericho said what he said. I don't know if he mentioned names or anything like that. But if it is true, run up on Chris Jericho.
A couple people you could ask how that worked out for them.
I'm just saying that's the way you handle that business right there. If you got a beef with somebody, just like the beef with Hangman Page and all that stuff. If you got beef with Chris Jericho, run up on him and say something. You know what I mean? And let's figure this out. Let's hash this little problem out. That's the way you do it, man. You don't do it in a tweet. That's not the way. That's not what men do. Can you?
Well, but here's the other thing, though, Book. Here's the other thing. It's one thing to tweet it, right? But it's another thing to delete it right after you tweet it.
Yeah, I hate guys that do that stuff too. It's like they was in a drunken stupor or something. He could that couldn't be it.
No, he's straight edge. Yeah,
straight edge.
No. This is a clear example of one of many of CM Punk making self-destructive choices.
Hey man, I don't know if it's a self-destructive choice. I just
it is.
I just think it was a bad take on trying to come back to a company. You know what I mean? I just thought it was a bad take. I just thought it could have been worded a little bit differently. Just like the first promo could have been worded a little bit differently. Right.
The promo could have definitely been worded differently. This
and I got beef for that too. You know what I mean? I got
you got beef for that.
I got
But,
beef
but
for the promo could have been worded a little bit differently. Could have got those people fired up. And I was thinking about the entertainment value that I had in CM Punk in that moment. And me personally, as a promoter, you know, as a boss, you know what I mean? I didn't get that. And I'm just saying, we got to take a break. Stick around, guys. You're in the Hall of Fame. We'll be back in a moment to talk some more about this. It's getting hot. Boom! Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame, man. We got any super chatters, man? Want to weigh in on this?
Yeah. If you want to weigh in on exactly what CM Punk is talking about, please do so. We want to invite everybody in the Hall of Fame. All of our people who are watching us, the over 655,000 subscribers to the Reality Wrestling YouTube channel. Trying to get over 700 here, man. Soon we need y'all's help. Spread the word. Spread the word and show them the way. Show them the way to San Jose, aka our Reality Wrestling YouTube channel. But Book, we were talking about this thing with CM Punk. CM Punk. Earlier, I had sent you a story that I thought we were going to discuss. We planned on talking about CM Punk today, but I thought it was going to be us talking about how he wants to come back and maybe make amends and put all this stuff behind him. Something must have set him off a little bit because he had the now tweeted and deleted, or Instagram posted then deleted story. And if you're just tuning in, I actually have the full post here now in front of me where I can read the entirety of the thing. I'll read it one more time so everyone can hear it. If you're just listening to us on ESPN 975, it says, Sigh, I wasn't cleared to come back to wrestle yet. Then plan was to wrestle at the pay-per-view. I sat and listened to Moxley's Rocky 3 idea. I explained how I had never seen a Rocky movie. I thought the idea sucked, but if the boss wanted to do it, whatever. He said he wouldn't lose to me. I'd never experienced somebody refusing to lose to me before. Wow. I just laughed. I asked Tony if this is what he had wanted. He said yes. He's the boss, so I said okay, but I need to be cleared first. They kept saying it would be a squash match, so I didn't need to be cleared. I scoffed at that. My health is more important. Dave Meltzer is a liar. Jericho is a liar and a stooge. There were plans, but plans always change. But I'll never put a company above my health ever again. That was the full comments from CM Punk about.
I just want to know why Twitter had to know about that.
No one should have known about that ever.
Can somebody tell me why Twitter had to know about that? I'm just saying. I'm just trying to figure this out. Why did Twitter have to know about the details of what's going on with me and the company that I work for? Why did Twitter have to know? Answer that question, man. That's a question.
If I could, I would. But you know what I mean? Like,
man, I don't get it, man. I don't get
it. There's the old Lil Wayne song. I don't know if you remember. He had a line where he said, you know, real G's move in silence like lasagna, right? And he's saying, look, you don't have to put all your business out there. Sometimes handling business behind the scenes, that's the best way to do it, where nobody ever needs to know about it. And CM Punk consistently, go back to when he walked out on WWE. He couldn't handle that business to himself either. He had to go on Colt Cabana's podcast, tell the whole world about everything, everywhere, all at once, get him sued, get Colt sued, get WWE involved in all this stuff, lose a friendship over it, sit on the sidelines for 7 years just to come back. The brother couldn't even make it a full calendar year before the entire locker room was against him. And I'll tell you this, I've heard nothing but stand-up stories about Jon Moxley. We can all poke fun at him about, you know, doing the the bleeding in every match. But when he was finishing up with WWE, he obviously wanted to leave. He didn't want to be there, but he did all the dates that he was supposed to do. He put over whoever they wanted him to on his way out. He went over to AEW, and he's been nothing but, from what I hear, a great leader in the locker room for a lot of guys. If Jon Moxley doesn't want to put you over, it's because he has lost complete respect for you, in my opinion, and he views that you don't put this business ahead of yourself.
The thing is, why would you want the world to know that Jon Moxley said that?
He's trying to throw dirt on Jon Moxley. That's the only reason.
I understand that. I get that. Yeah. But it's like the childish thing I've ever seen in my life, as far as a 44-year-old man, 45-year-old man talking on Twitter. I mean, this is a guy that's fought in the UFC. This is a guy that literally, well, allegedly,
He competed in the UFC. Let's say that.
Well, no, it's like me in the Rumble. He made an appearance.
He made it. He made an appearance
in the UFC. So, and then to talk tough on Twitter, that's beyond me, man. You know what I mean? But I'm old school. I'm a relic. I wouldn't know how to, I wouldn't know how to, put the right characters together, to do it on Twitter. But if I saw you in public, trust you me, we would deal with it as men. And that's the part that's missing in this world.
Look, I'm going to tell you this.
Wait a minute. Even if we just sat down and talked about it, I ain't talking about just throwing hands. Okay? Just want to put that out there.
Yeah, you're not, run up on somebody and not just beat them up, but have a conversation about it. And the thing about this too is, so he buries Moxley in this, he buries Jericho, he buries Meltzer, but that, whatever. And then he buries the company too. He buries the company. He's saying that Tony Khan and AEW and the powers that be knew that he was not clear to compete and allowed him to wrestle, quote unquote, anyway, right? And he's saying, I will never put my health above a company above my health again. That is a pretty strong accusation to make against a company.
Well,
the last I checked, he's 44 years of age, 45, whatever you said. If you're a grown man, you're in charge of your decisions. If you didn't feel comfortable being in that ring, there's nothing that could have made you go into that ring.
Let me tell you something, bro. Let me tell you something. It's hard to feel comfortable in your 40s in the ring. Okay, I'm serious. I'm dead serious, man. It's hard because your body is beginning to, let you down a little bit. You don't have, that energy and that exuberance that you had, when you was in your 30s and when you in your 20s. You don't have that. Trust me, man. Go back and look at CM Punk walk to the ring at Revolution 2022. When he just his walk, not the in-ring performance, just his walk. Brother, man, he looked like, man, his feet might have been hurting a little bit. Ankles, joints not working right. Probably hadn't took the glucosamine sulfates and the C muscles that week or something. I'm serious, dog. The body. You just turned 30, right?
I did in December.
As soon as you turn, 40, wait till you turn 40. You better have you a bottle of glucosamine close by.
I'm gonna start taking it now just to be ready.
Don't start too early.
Then I'll be all stiff.
Mess the effect up. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Well, but let me ask you this. I'm just gonna ask you this as not as a wrestler, not as a boss, not as a promoter, not as anything, just as a man. If you were to read those comments from somebody whom you shared a workspace with, right, and had a professional relationship with, as a man, you read those comments that are put out publicly. Like, how do you actually react? Like, what would your actual reaction be to that?
I don't know.
Like, if he said Booker T is a liar and a stooge, you know what I mean? Like, what is your reaction as somebody, a veteran in the game? Like, how do you react to that?
Well, one way I'm not going to react is I'm not going to go on Twitter and say anything about it. And I'm sure Chris Jericho is not going to say anything about it on Twitter. I can almost guarantee you 100% Chris Jericho is not going to, respond to that on Twitter. He's not, because he's a man. If you got words like that to say to someone, you say it in their face. You talk about it in their face. That's what you do. So for me, I wouldn't say anything, on social media. But trust me, rest assured, he would have to see me sooner or later. And the first thing I'm going to say is, what was those comments about me being a stooge? Say it now. That's probably what would happen. I'm serious. That's just probably what would happen with me. I'm not, past being confrontational or anything like that, especially when someone bring your name up. But I'm definitely not going to say anything on social media, on Twitter, on Instagram, Facebook. I'm not going to call you on the phone about it and say, hey, man, what were you talking about? I'm gonna wait till we see each other, and and we'll settle it like men. That's normally the way I did it. I know things aren't like that anymore. I know guys don't aren't that confrontational anymore. We've got to. You could say something, and a man can feel body shame these days. I mean, so you better not try to run up on them.
Well, I mean, I'm really floored by this, but let's talk about the biggest. Let's talk about the biggest statement from Punk's now deleted Instagram post. How are you 44, 45 years old and you've never seen a Rocky movie? That really makes me question you as a man.
Well,
I've got to be honest.
That right there is even another story to, want people to know I've never watched a Rocky movie. Like, that's a good thing.
It's a bad thing.
Like, what's wrong with Rocky?
Well, but when you're in a sport that is a storytelling simulated combat, you might want to look at the greatest series of movies in that medium ever told. One Best Picture.
Well, maybe what combat movies did he like? Maybe that's the question.
Come on, man. You at least have seen the Rocky.
No, that's the question. Maybe that's the question. What combat movies, perhaps did he like? Or maybe he didn't like any.
But like I've been in the wrestling business now forever, a decade or more, and I can't tell you how many times you, myself, or one of the boys, when laying out a match or a concept, says, and I quote, "It's like Rocky blank," right? So hey, it's like Rocky 3. Hey, it's like Rocky 4. Hey, it's like Rocky 2 when he does this and this. I mean, it is such a great frame of reference. I cannot believe it.
Especially when you're making a comeback. You know what I mean? Especially when you're selling. You know what I mean? I mean, come on. I mean, if you can't find something in Rocky that moves you, I don't care if it's, yo, Adrian, we did it. I mean,
when Mick Foley won the title, that's what he said.
Exactly. Hey, we got to take a break, man. Stick around. You're in the Hall of Fame. We're talking too much Rocky. We'll be back in a minute.
Never too much.
You dig it, sucker?
You're listening to the Hall of Fame. Here's Booker T and Brad Gilmore.